Welcome to the Feel Your Best Formula podcast. Are you over 40 and tired of struggling with your weight, dieting, and constantly feeling like you're starting over with nutrition and fitness? Do you wish you had more energy? Do you want to lose weight and finally keep it off for good? I'm Lil, a certified nutrition coach and former registered nurse. I too have been there, and at the age of 44, I decided I was done with fad diets and chasing a lower number on the scale. I was so tired of constantly starting over and wondering why I couldn't get lasting results. I became a nutrition coach and created the Feel Your Best formula for women who want to build muscle, lose fat, and keep it off for good. If you're ready to build a better relationship with food, the scale, and your body, let's build your formula for feeling your best. If you're new here, make sure to check the episode details for the link to my newbie starter guide. You'll receive an email straight to your inbox with everything you need to start building your Feel Your Best formula. I'm so glad you're here. Now let's dive into today's episode. Hello and welcome to our first mini coaching session. I'm really looking forward to popping into your podcast feed on Fridays with a mini session. This will just be a quick 5 to 7 minute podcast, and the idea came to me because a couple weeks ago, I started doing these mini coaching sessions on my Instagram stories where I just hop on each morning, Monday through Friday, usually after my workout, and I share a quick tip. And this is normally a tip centered around food, fitness, mindset, all of those things that we talk about here on this podcast. And I know you may not follow me on Instagram, so I decided I'll start doing a quick mini episode each Friday where I pull from one of the topics I cover that week, and I'll also make sure to share it here. So like I said, these are going to be quick, just quick 5 to 10 minutes, and I'm just going to hop on here to help motivate you over the weekend and give you some ideas on how you can be more successful the next week. Some of it will be geared specifically for macro counting, but many will just be overall tips and ideas for success. So our first mini session, I want to share something you can put into practice right away, and that is visualization. Now, it may sound a bit woo-woo or out there, but even if you're skeptical, I would ask you to give it a try and just see how powerful it can be, especially if you're really feeling challenged in creating those new habits that you want to get started with. So what do I mean by visualization? Well, this technique can be used in a lot of ways, but I suppose you could look in a more broader picture and imagine yourself living the life that you're working towards and being at your end goal. But there has to be a connection between where you are right now and the habits that you need to create consistency with to get you to that goal. So that's what we're going to talk about, using visualization to help form habits. So here's the deal. Literally anything you create must exist in the mind first. Just think about it. Can you paint a picture? Can you write an essay? Can you cook a meal without first going through the steps in your mind of what you want to create? And you can't just expect something to appear out of thin air. It has to be created in your mind first. And most of the time you aren't even aware about that you're even thinking, and you're not even realizing that you are creating this reality in your mind before it becomes something truly tangible. Even as I speak these words that you're listening to on this podcast, they existed in my mind first, and they were written into my little script outline, and now they're being spoken into reality and being spoken out loud. But the words that I'm saying had to have the thought process that occurred before they became real. So are we on the same page here? Do we agree? And maybe you've never thought about this way, but we have to agree that before anything becomes real and tangible, it must first be real in our minds. So let's use this technique to start a new habit. I spoke about this last week on my Instagram stories because this is something that I've been doing literally for years, and I had used it that morning. So I decided to share it with everyone on my Instagram and show them how powerful this can be. So I started realizing I really needed a new morning routine probably about a month ago. And I've kind of been resisting it, but my mornings are a little bit chaotic with, dealing with getting the kids off to school, getting everyone out the door, planning for the day. And I haven't been doing my workouts until after the kids leave for school. And I know that getting up at 5 and getting my workout done early in the morning is really just going to make my whole day go smoother, but I have been resisting it. And I don't really like the way that my mornings have been going, where I just feel like I'm just getting started way too late. I have client calls that start at 9 a.m. and I want to be showered and ready to go when those calls start. So I really just had a little honest discussion with myself and said, Lil, you need to start getting up at 5 a.m. again. You need to get that workout done and you need to get that checked off your to-do list before the rest of your day starts. And I really did not feel like waking up at 5 a.m. that morning. That extra half hour just sounded so amazing. And to be honest, some days I've been sleeping in as late as 5:45 or 6 a.m. So I knew what I had to do because I knew it was going to be challenging for me to get up right when that alarm went off. I knew I had to use visualization because it is something that had been so powerful for me in the past. So when I set my alarm the night before, I just took a minute to walk myself through. I closed my eyes and I just pictured myself going through the exact steps I was going to take when I woke up in the morning. I knew my workout clothes were already laid out. I imagined waking up, brushing my teeth, going in the bathroom, walking back out, putting my workout clothes on, my shoes, my socks, my hair tie, all of those details, all of those little things that had to happen before I started my workout. I made sure I thought about walking down the stairs, making my pre-workout drink, having my pre-workout bar, all of those things that I was planning on doing the next day. And I will also say it's really important to think about the small details because that just makes it even more real in your mind. So I walked myself through all these steps and I thought, okay, when my alarm goes off in the morning, I'm going to be good. But you know what happened? My alarm went off and my first reaction was to hit the snooze button. And I put my head back down on the pillow and I said, no. And I walked myself through all of those steps again, and I already started feeling more awake because in my mind, I had already woken up. So I got out of bed and I just did the darn thing, got my workout done, and I just felt so relieved that I had put the effort into making this a reality. And I'm going to be honest, was it easy? No, it definitely wasn't easy. It was hard, but you know what? Using visualization made it easier. And it just made it that tiny little percentage easier to the point where it became doable. And the truth is, change is hard. We're always looking for ways to make things easier, and you can complain about the fact that it's hard to make change. You can complain about not getting the change that you want, but you can also look for solutions that make things just a teeny bit easier and a teeny bit less hard. And that is just one little step you can take in the right direction. And the more you do these difficult things, the easier they become. And it has been much easier for me to wake up at 5 a.m. and get that workout done, even in just the few days since I started doing it for the first time last week. So this is your first mini session, visualization for success, and using it to create those new habits so that you can make them a reality in your mind before you actually go and put them into practice. And I promise you that if you give it a try, you just might surprise yourself with how much easier it can make things for you. Okay, that's it for our very first mini session. I will see you here Monday at 5 a.m. for a regular episode. Thank you so much for tuning into today's episode of the Feel Your Best Formula podcast. If you haven't already, make sure to check the episode details for my new listener starter guide, and any additional resources mentioned in the episode can also be found in the show notes on my website. You can always find me on Instagram at Macros with Lil, and for more healthy lifestyle tips, recipes, and information on my one-to-one and group coaching services, make sure to check out my website. All the links can be found below. If you know someone else who is ready to start building their formula for feeling their best, please share the love and send them a link to the podcast. I hope you found today's episode helpful, and I'll see you back here next week for a brand new one.